You ever find yourself a fan of something and it changes on you? It evolves into something else or just starts going down a different path. That's what it feels like to me right now, being a Garden Warfare fan. Battle for Neighborville is such a departure from the Garden Warfare franchise that I don't even really know how to feel about it, because the PvE in the game I think is fantastic. I really enjoy it, and I find myself wondering why they haven't made a game that was focused around PvE entirely in the first place. Because when I play this, it seems to me like the PvP is an afterthought. And not only that, the PvP has changed so drastically that it just doesn't feel like it's a part of what the series is. It's so hard to explain. I guess the best way to break it down is PvP in Garden Warfare, to me, originally felt like Team Fortress 2, or something around Team Fortress 2, or Monday Night Combat, which is another game that's pretty much based off of Team Fortress 2. And nowadays, when you play Battle for Neighborville, it feels more like Overwatch. That's the biggest change, and the change is quite drastic. One of these games is more like just an arena kind of shooter in a way, and the other one is more of a, well, they're both team-based, but Overwatch, you really can't leave your team for very long. For the most part, you want to drive as one unit. You want to work together, you want to have your tank pushing up the center, you know what I mean? You want to really stay close to each other, and people don't typically split off from the main group for very long. In Garden Warfare, that's not how things used to go. So that's the biggest change right there. Now, we also have a sprint button, which it makes the PvE a lot more fun, but it makes the PvP incredibly frustrating. On top of that, we also have classes that a lot of them seem to have a mobility ability or some way of getting out of danger. Super Slide, for example, she can pretty much do what the Scientist does and just turn into a ball of light and take off. Well, the Scientist used to be able to do, one of his variations of that ability. And that's kind of prevalent with all of the classes now. Well, not all of them, but most of them. Either they're tanky enough to get away and sprint away from you, or they have some sort of escape mechanic. So most gunfights that I find where it's just a one-on-one, the random one-on-one encounters that I happen to come in to contact with in PvP, the other person, if they're losing, they just turn around and they run. And tracking is so terrible in the game that, well, good luck shooting them as they move and bounce around and use whatever abilities they have to get away from you. And if you change that person, if you charge after that person, rather, basically you're playing a MOBA now where you just push past your bots and you're gonna die. So yeah, if they run away and you give chase, 9 times out of 10, you're going to run smack into a wall of other players. So that mechanic of the game is utterly spoiled. The one-on-one mechanic, primary fire, has just, it's almost useless. Most times I get a kill or I get killed is from an ability that does a ton of damage. We have a lot of one-hit abilities in this game. And that just makes the frustration level go up. And you start to learn that, well, if you fire at someone, they're just going to run. So if you try to burst them down, that's pretty much the only way to do it. That's not fun to me. That's not Garden Warfare. What used to be something where it felt like a match of tug of war, where in the original Gardens and Graveyards, now Turf Takeover, it really felt dynamic. Each time the zombies pushed up the map or the plants pushed up the map, it just felt really good. Now the maps, they seem to just be copy-pasted, lazy spin-offs of the PvE regions. The garden areas that you have to protect, whatever they call them now, the control points, whatever, they're always in these weird boxes. They're in like a little circular area or something like that, and there'll be a couple of walls with 2 or 3, 4 entrance ways, and usually 4 ways in, and it just doesn't feel right. It just feels like you're in there jumping around trying to avoid the one-hit kills. It doesn't feel the same. It's kind of hard to put my finger on it. The pacing is off, and it's chaotic. That's the best way that I can put it. The pacing, if you go back and you play Garden Warfare 1, the pacing is phenomenal. The maps and everything about the way it felt, the way all the characters just kind of, I don't know, they kind of synergized off one another. You always had a counter, and things just felt simpler and more fun. Things are more chaotic now and not as much fun, and there are more moments of frustration. So looking at it, stepping back at it, I see, okay, there's a great PvE game here. Now, if they would have just made a PvE like MMO light style game where you had huge open areas where you could go around and just do tons of quests, something like that, I think would have been fantastic. But they had to throw the PvP in there, and in doing so, PvP, it feels like an afterthought. And it's been changed so much that it feels like a betrayal to someone like me. It's like, whoa, this is not what Garden Warfare is. Well, this isn't Garden Warfare. This is Battle for Neighborville. Okay, let's be honest here. This is Garden Warfare. These are the same characters. It's the same lore. We're seeing some of the, well, there's one map that I noticed. Maybe there's a couple that have been redone kind of in a new style. You can see the zombies took over the neighborhood a little bit, and it's reflected in that. But to try to say that this isn't a Garden Warfare game just because it's not in the title, no, that's nonsense. Now, they might come out with Garden Warfare 3 and it will very well go back. I hope they do that. But in order for them to really do that, I think this needs to be a fail. I think this game needs to fall flat on its face in order for them to understand this is not the way to go forward. And what really upset me, guys, was that I just went to log in. I haven't played since around Halloween. I grinded that stupid map, and I'm sorry. I didn't like it. It felt like a daily chore that I had to do in order to get those rewards, because if you don't get them in that month, who knows if they'll be back next year, right? Who wants to wait a year? So part of the reason why people play Garden Warfare is to get those new skins, and with the variants being gone, there's no more variants. Skins are basically everything. So I log in today and I see the Seasons Eatings bundle. Just drop some money and, open up that wallet and you can get these exclusive holiday skins. Whoa! Hold on a minute here. Garden Warfare has never been about that life. You had foil packs and you could grind those coins, and the holiday exclusives you could get. Anybody could get any skin they wanted with coins. So now it's starting to become rather apparent why they changed the foil pack system so that they could have these bundles. Now, if you think this is the only bundle they're going to do, please. This is going to be a regular thing. I'm thinking probably every month. They're going to use it to keep the price of the base game up. So they're going to pad out the price of the game artificially with these stupid skin bundles. So every time you turn around, you're going to be seeing PVZ for $40, $50, and it's going to include the Seasons Eatings bundle or the whatever bundle next time. So that might not be every month, but they're going to be throwing these bundles in there to try to keep the price up on the base game and to get people to continue to give them money. Now, I don't mind paying for content, but you need to give me something that's worthwhile here. And when you take away variants from a game, for balance reasons, and the balance is all over the place, honestly, I haven't gotten to a PvP match since before the last patch. It might be better, but it was awful around launch. Just absolutely awful balance. So when you take away the variants for the purpose of balancing, and we don't have balancing, and then you try to sell us the only thing that's worth grinding in this game, the skins, what are you doing? EA, I'm not even going to say PopCap. EA, what are you doing? Okay? You're taking PopCap's genius. You're taking the PVZ IP and you're running it through the mud like you do everything else. This is a serious problem. Now, I know people aren't raising concern right now, and let's be honest, a lot of kids play this game, so when you go to the forums, you're going to be like, oh, yay, and you're going to see a lot of happy stuff, and they don't really care. They don't have to pay for anything. They're not paying. Mom and dad are paying for those things. So the adults in the room who are paying for those skins and who aren't getting the skins that they wanted for free like they used to, it's a problem for us. And for those of us who have been here from the start, and not the new people you're trying to appeal to with this new Overwatch direction, man, you're really slapping us in the face. I gotta be honest. People have been saying for a while that this game was going to split the fan base. Well, it's continuing to do so. It's continuing to split the fan base, and I'm not going to continue to play this game. I'm not going to support it. I'm just not. I completed 2 of the PvE regions completely, and by then I was pretty much burned out on chasing all that around. It's fun, but there needs to be a little bit more there, you know? I can't really explain it. It's just not enough for you to really sink your teeth into that's different. Like I said, if they would have went with more of like an MMO light style game where there were bosses everywhere and quests and things to do. I'm not saying turn it into World of Warcraft or something, but make it along those lines where it's, you know, open world, open-ended for the most part, huge zones, tons of people in the same area, all working towards objectives. And that would have been great. But we didn't get that. We got this weird hybrid where they're trying to kind of satisfy their old audience, but you can tell they're really trying to appeal to new people. Garden Warfare 2, I don't think the sales were that great. Garden Warfare 1, I believe the sales were better. This game, I honestly can't see this doing any better than 2. I don't know what the sales are right now. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just getting old and I don't know what's cool and what's hip anymore. But I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to make a battle royale next. I mean, it's just really sad when you see them start to lose their identity and go after something new or fresher and exciting. The series isn't that old, in my opinion. You know, if this was like SOCOM or something from back in the day, I'd understand if it had to adapt and change. But to completely change your PvP mechanics 100%, to get rid of variants, to make such a focus on PvE, and then to do these tie-in bundles. Wow. EA. Wow. Very ballsy, but not very smart. Not many brains in that move. But hey, who knows? Like I said, maybe I'm out of touch. Maybe this is just what the new generation is into. I'm not down with this, and I gotta be honest with you. It grieves me to say it, but I'm done with Garden Warfare at this point. Unless they change things, I'm done. That's not a threat. That's not some sort of statement. I'm just done. It sucks. I don't want to be done with it because this has been one of my favorite game series. Wow, since like SOCOM. I've been telling people on my channel, hey, Garden Warfare is incredible. And I know some of you are like, dude, that game looks like it's for 12-year-olds, bro. But I'm telling you, back in the day, Garden Warfare 1 and 2, man, there was a lot more going on than most people realize. But now, yeah, I'm going to have to sit on the sidelines. We'll have to see where it goes. But let me know what you guys think about this down in the comment section below. I'm sure I'll get more than a little bit of hate, but I got to speak the way I feel, folks. If you don't like it, well, that's just the way it goes. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and I look forward to seeing you all in my next video.